and you have already joined the network, please be aware we're going to kill it and kill the entire network, shut it down, clean it up, and start it over. So if you would please, if you're currently running a node, please stop your node and clear your data directory so that you can have a fresh start when we get this thing relaunched. So Tomasz, you're working on a...
So relaunch, clean data?
Yep. Okay. Well, it was good while it lasted. Hey there, Artur.
Hi, everyone.
Hi.
All right, so let's go ahead and get started. Many thanks for those of you who are here today, whether it's morning, evening, or afternoon for you. I'm going to throw some information in the chat window here. First is a link to what we call the worksheet. It has all the details for what we're planning on doing and the version of Node that we're running and the resources that you will need to get started today. I will also call out there are two things not included in the worksheet that you will need. If you are running a node today, please make sure that you run with these two flags. That's everything I'm speaking to is in the chat window. These two flags, you need the flag called store type, and you need the flag called map size. So please make sure you include that in your run command. And when we are ready, and it's not now because we are in the process of relaunching the network that we're going to use today. But when we are ready, I'm pasting into the chat window the bootstrap address that you can use to join the network. Do not join the network now. I repeat, don't do that. All right. And so a little bit about what our goals are for today. Artur provided a wonderful demo yesterday as part of the community debrief that takes place on Wednesdays of the scenario where Alice pays Bob on the RChain platform. And what we'd like to do is have him repeat the demo because we've made some improvements since that time, and then have you guys be able to do the same against the network. So what I'd like to propose, and this is a fairly casual interaction, so Artur, what I'd like to propose is in the time that we have right now is that you walk us through the demo again in terms of at a high level of watching Bob pay Alice, or Alice pay Bob, and in a kind of a way of a how-to, so that we can repeat it once the network is launched. Does that make sense? And is that doable?
Yes, I hope. I'll do my best.
That's the spirit. All right, so let me hand it over to Artur for a few minutes to walk us through this.
So, in terms of the structure of the demo, not much has changed since yesterday. I'll pinpoint any details while we go through it. So we are first going to access our vault. That's a new one. We are going to see how to know one's ref address based on their public key. This applies both to your ref address and to others, because you can have their public keys, of course. We'll see how one would do a transfer. We'll see how onboarding a new user would work. Basically, that would be just a transfer. And actually accessing the default by a third party that has ref to pay for that. We'll go into more detail on that. That's kind of a discovery since yesterday. Then we are going to transfer back from Bob to Genesis, and I guess we'll skip the error scenarios because we've covered them yesterday and nothing changed in there. But why all this? So as Kelly mentioned, overnight we merged the changes to default API that I was alluding to throughout my yesterday's demo. And sorry, yeah. And the reason we are sharing those is, because the APIs are much simpler, and we'd like you to learn the new APIs as they're available, and start using those. So let's go through the steps of the demo. At any time, please interrupt me with any questions you might have. I'm first going to access Alice's vault, operating as Alice. And the script is in Roland examples, this proposed SH. Probably to run it with Docker, you will need to do some adaptations in there, because I'm running off my local, not from Docker, from a binary. And I'm not operating on testnet, I'm operating on my local node. So here you can see how in the new version of the API, you would access a vault and check the balance. We see that the balance is 0. We see that the preamble is much shorter. Basically, to access one's vault, we call ref vault find or create. We provide the ref address, and we match on the either. This has changed since yesterday as well. This used to be right vault, now this is true vault. It's much harder to do a typo in here. And we ask for balance. There's no authentication wrapper for asking for the balance, so it's more straightforward. By the way, let me mention the error that prevented me from showing this all yesterday. Not in this file, but in the transfer, while I was accessing the vault, I failed to provide a pattern in here. It said vault channel instead of what you see in here. And this caused, way more debugging that I would like to admit. And after fixing that tiny detail, everything clicked. So you can imagine my frustration. Anyway, let's see how one would get a ref address. By the way, are there any questions so far?
Should we pull that examples to our working directories, and should we edit some configuration files there to be able to, as I got, we should be able to run this, to repeat what you're doing?
Okay, to repeat what I'm doing, you would need to check out the RNode repository. I guess that would be the easiest way to do that. Let me. So basically, you would go to I'm not sure where my Zoom is preventing me from launching.
I put the link the link is already in the chat. So there's the link in the chat, and the contracts that you would need are there. So you could either do what Artur just said, which is pull that entirety, or you can pull contract by contract if that's more convenient for you.
Mm-hmm. And also, we should edit propose.sh and some environmental file. Should we edit it either?
Oh you're right. There are environment variables imported. Maybe I should show you the setup for this demo. So while being in the examples folder, you source the keys.env. I'll show it to you. Yeah, nothing super confidential. They are not going to be used in the testnet. But yeah, those match. That's why all of this works. And the proposed.sh script is quite simple. It basically runs the set comments you pass as as the third parameter on the file that you've passed as the second parameter, and executes the deploy using the private key you've provided on the first parameter, and does a propose. So probably you are going to need to change this. I'm not sure how argument passing to Docker would work. Maybe some adaptations would be needed.
Should we edit keys?
Yes, you definitely need to source the keys to be able to paste those commands I am using here.
No, should we, for example, change Alice key for our keys?
I don't see such necessity. In fact, it's going to be easier if you don't, because you would have to, so you know your private key, you know your public key, but you would have to run the script that we are about to run actually to derive a ref address based on that. And let's actually do that.
Okay, thank you.
So you can use the keys that are here, or you can derive the one missing part, which is the ref address based on your public key that you have, by running this command. And this is going to work with whatever private key you pass. As long as the length is okay for the private key. So we see that the ref address for public key, this and that, is this and that. This, this is a new file, pretty straightforward. We import the system process of ref address and send from public key to that process, and convert this hex representation in that string into a byte array, pass that all to from public key, and receive the ref address corresponding to that public key. Okay, so knowing our ref address and being able to access our account, let's actually receive a transfer from the Genesis operator. This is using Genesis account because all the vaults, all the accounts are the same in terms of transfer. So yeah, it would be the same if I had any funds in Alice's vault and wanted to transfer to Bob, which we are about to do later. So yeah, let's transfer from Genesis vault to Alice. And you see that the transfer finished. And you see, again, much shorter and less nested code. The main differences in this version is, again, we are using ref addresses, no more public keys, no more get ref address from public key. We call find or create using this from ref address. We ask the ref vault to provide us with the auth key for the current deployer. We store it on this channel. We join both of those, remember, to pattern match, and we call transfer and pass one additional parameter, namely the key. And yeah, that's it. So no more of authentication wrapper. Instead, there's a auth key. Are there any questions?
Where did that key come from?
That key came from here, which in turn was a receive from this channel, to which this method has sent its
Oh.
response.
So okay, to the rev vault you sent, oh, you called the deployer off key oh, okay, so the vault is giving you back the deployer's like public key, I guess?
Yeah, kind of. That's.
Oh yeah, well correct me.
It's based on public key, but there's additional guarantee that this auth key is actually issued by rev vault.
Okay. Oh, okay. Okay.
So let's see the balance, just to be sure. And yeah, anybody can query the balance of any ref vault. I will skip that because I guess we've seen that. So how would we onboard a new user to the platform? So being a current user, Alice, I'm going to transfer some funds to Bob's rep address even before they have their vault created. And this is going to deduct funds from my vault, which we are about to see. Yeah, you see that the transfer has begun, but it hasn't finished yet. At the same time, you can see that the balance has already been lowered on Alice's vault. Now, let's execute as Bob and try to get his balance. And Bob would need to pay for executing that deploy while he hasn't his rev vault ready yet. So this deploy might successfully create the rev vault for him, and in this, if the transfer manages to arrive before we ask for balance, Bob would be able to execute that. In this case, though, we were lucky to observe a race where we first managed to ask for balance, and after that, the funds have arrived, which basically means that what is going to be a part of onboarding a user, the exchange that issues the transfer should at least ask for Bob's balance, or otherwise trigger find or create. Yeah, basically just find or create on Bob's rep address would suffice. And it would probably be prudent for the exchange to do that because, well, technically until they receive the response from the transfer call, they don't know whether it succeeded or not. So it would be prudent for them to actually, for their own interest, issue that find or create call and see that the transfer indeed finished and that the balance is as expected. And in our scenario where we are not yet requiring the funds to be in Bob's vault for him to be able to check the balance, we can simply rerun this deploy, and the vault is already created and the funds are there, which we are about to see. Yep, as expected. So yeah, here's the remark about the race. Let me see if I skipped something. No, I think I've covered everything. So we've seen Bob's balance to be 100 right now. Let's check the Genesis balance, operating as Bob, mind you. So I expect this to be almost 9,000. And let's make it 9,000 again. I should have made it over 9,000. Yeah, we finished the transfer. Let's check the balance of Genesis ref again. And yeah, I guess that's it. So you can see we've got 4 raw files in here. Yeah, this run one is going to disappear. So we've got 4 files, one for creating the Genesis vault, which I guess we can do. Let's do that just once during our shared operation on the testnet. And we've got a way to know one's ref address. It takes the ref address as the public key as a parameter. We've got check balance, which also takes a ref address as a parameter. We've got transfer funds, which takes 2 parameters from and to. And yeah, in this case, you need to provide a public private key matching the ref address of the from vault. In all other cases, I mean, in 1 and 2, the private key you use doesn't matter. So I guess with that we can conclude the walkthrough of the updated API. I will welcome your questions now. Are there any?
That silence is either good news or bad news. Hey, Artur, thank you so much for that walkthrough. Really nice work getting that API updated. So I guess first off, are there any questions? Or should we walk through this together, where together means you guys bring up your nodes, you join the network, and you give this a go? What do you think?
It would be nice to go through together.
Okay, let's do that. So the network is up. And I'm putting again in the chat window the information. We do need to add these 2 flags to your run command. One flag is store type. The other flag is map size. There's also the address to the Bootstrap node. And for deploying today.
So we can join the network right now.
Yep, you're welcome to join the network. Thank you for asking. And then for your deployments to the network, please use the following. Not to the network, we're going to put deployments to node number 1, which is our available validator for today. And as you're going through this, please feel free to come off mute or use the chat if you run into issues or have questions or want to share any observations. That would be very helpful.
should we join as a validator, or should we adjust that proposed.sh script to call the testnet node?
Ah, good question. Yeah, you'll need to adjust to call the testnet node.
So we're not bonding today.
No.
Okay, thanks.
And that's important, right? Because you don't need to be a validator to move tokens around on the network.
Okay, I think I'm on the network. Got a lot of log messages coming by.
Okay.
Yes, I'm here. Actually, I'm ready to do something.
Great.
Has been Genesis Vault already created? Or should I try to do that?
Well, that's a good question. Archer, is the Genesis Vault pre-existing here?
No, somebody needs to create it.
All right, let's Zipper, you're on.
Okay.
Would you be willing to share your screen while you do it?
I'm actually not connected to the network. My network setup doesn't allow me to connect to the test network, which is a shame.
Nutzipper, would you be willing to share your screen while you do it?
Yeah, I can try.
Do you know? Let's pause Bob for the moment, please. Nutzipper, are you able to share?
How do I share? I can
Yeah,
find.
so on the Zoom window on the bottom is a icon that says share. Do you see that?
Yeah.
Okay, and then just select the desktop that you'd like to share.
Yeah.
Aha.
Okay, do you see?
Yep,
Yes.
well done.
So I have my node running in this window. I have all the examples folder here. I have I've adjusted my node. Do you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, totally.
I have adjusted my script I entered the gRPC host here. So I just copying this. Okay.
Okay,
I think it goes before the deploy. Yes, it sure goes before the deploy.
Okay.
oh, I don't know that's a requirement. It's not. It works both ways for me.
Huh.
Oh my God. One more Unicode character. Oh,
Nice.
yeah. Okay. That is good.
Are you connected to the testnet?
Yes.
Okay.
So I think I've seen the Genesis Vault created passed around in the node logs.
Oh,
We can scroll back to them just to be sure before we dive into grabbing the additional blocks.
Where did you see it?
Up there, up in this tab where Node is being run. Yeah, we need to scroll up. No, in the left pane, in the left window. Yeah.
What are you look? What did you see that made you?
I've seen output.
Did you see timeout?
Oh, I see it. It's at 14:30.
Oh yeah, using group address.
It's block 86.
86.
Uh-huh. The hash is 7756.
Genesis is, you can see this block on my screen. This
Yeah.
one, right?
Yeah.
Nice. I already catched up to 86th block. Feels great. For a very short period of
Is
time.
that zippy? That's nice.
So, okay. So, does something else? Someone else wanted to execute another command?
I would give it a try for learning purposes. I'll have to change my script like you did still.
Okay, so just to understand, potentially I just can to modify that this file and paste here some public private keys. How do I generate these, not pair, but these 3 strings to get my vault, so anyone can send me some test rock?
What do you think, Artur?
Okay. Sorry, I was muted. The private key is an ECDS one. So the concrete type is when you say node deploy help, you'll see what kind of a private key that is. Basically, the way I obtained those is probably not the safest. I just invented whatever private key and checked what public key corresponds to that. using a method that yeah, we wouldn't like to expose in the Node API. So, but we can use it for now, I guess. Let me think. You know what? Let's stick to using those. Let's pretend we only have 3 users for now. Let's arrange. Yeah. And I'll add that to the demo material, how to get a new private and public key for those.
Okay. Just is the algorithm same like?
It's the same as used for validators.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. So Joshi, how are you?
Oh yeah, I was thinking maybe people were wanting.
Okay,
So I got a little confused I didn't get the script pulled down the right way that I thought I did. So I'm actually not as close to ready to go as I thought I was.
So should I go further?
Yeah, you should do it. Yeah.
All right. So now we're checking what we're doing. Now we're checking the balance. Or by the way, where's the first one script?
The enumeration isn't chronological. It's not in order. So we start with 2, and then 1 is knowing your web address. And also, one thing to notice, this isn't actually that far from how it would look in the wild, because many deployers would use the same validator. So that's actually not an uncommon use case, what we are doing in here. We are just pretending to be more than one entity, more than one person operating on the same validator.
Right, and that's not hard to imagine either, that a single person would have multiple vaults.
I wonder how much peers are in the network right now.
I think I saw 14. Let's double check.
Is there any way for someone who's just a validator, not like, employed or on the dev team, to know how many peers they have?
Yeah, sure. There is.
Yeah.
Let me post it in the.
Okay, it's also in the user guide on the wiki. So it's.
Yeah, Joshi, I posted in the chat.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
More than 100 blocks.
That's
all right. So check the balance. So it seems that it's not quite easy to get what we want from the script because the old messages are hidden by all these logs.
Yes, and do we? Oh, we don't even see the block number from propose. No, it is here. So maybe we could show that block and grab at the demo channel.
Oh. Yes, yes, and so yes for today, because we can force validators to propose, but something to think about going forward, and certainly at mainnet, you won't be able to force a validator to propose. So we do have an important user need to know where their deployment ended up, what block their deployment ended up, that we won't have if the user is not in charge of the proposing. Does that make sense?
Yeah, makes sense to me.
I guess yes.
So all the output of the log function is being sent to the demo channel, excuse me. So nothing receives on that channel. So we should see the balance being printed out in there, I mean, put into that channel. One problem with that is that, yeah, data in the channel is not ordered, so, but yeah, we've only had one balance call so far, so whatever we see at the demo channel should be our response. Can you grab for demo?
Yeah. Sorry?
Can you find demo in the output of show blocks for that block? Yet again. I mean, it should be. Oh, yeah, it's. No, not this one. Oh, I think it's about here. Yeah, so we see demo balance is 0 on the left. Yeah.
Obtained whole check and balance.
Yeah, it seems as if it actually retained the order. Let's hope that is the case. It very much doesn't have to be. I mean, according to Roland semantics, and I'm not sure about the double space. One thing I know for sure is we need a better way of transpection into the blocks.
For sure.
Can you tell a bit? I see that I'm checking the content of the block with the current hash. So, and this printout is pretty big, but the only one deploy containing this my script should be in that block. What is the all this thing? Actually, the code that I deployed is this, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what is
There's
this?
a bunch of stuff from the first 86 blocks that those other nodes deployed.
Yeah, that's the tuples. That's the entirety of the tuple space, and you'll notice as it gets
the
bigger.
entire tuple space.
Yeah.
So it just prints out the whole dump of the whole. So in production, this will be just super big.
Yeah, not only super big, but at some point it becomes the way that we're using it right now. So, for example, you're pecking around in the tuple space of that block to find out what's in there. As it gets bigger and bigger, that becomes a little bit unwieldy.
Yeah, I guess we should change the API here to. I mean, we don't currently have the means, I think, to, or maybe we simply didn't have time to do that. But for either of those two reasons, we don't have just the changes that happen during the creation of that block in that output, which is, I guess, what we actually would like to see in here.
To just show the new things, the new deployments.
Yeah, the changes to the double space. That means what went out of it and never came back, and also what went in.
Okay.
All right, should I go with another command?
Yeah, let's do that.
So what we've done, we've created Genesis vault, then we check the balance of
Alyssa's account.
of mine account, of Alice's, yes, of Alice's account.
And now we are up to transferring from Genesis to Alice.
And what we got that Alice have 0 tokens, or
Yes, exactly.
right?
0 rev, yeah.
So even while vault hasn't been created yet, we can make a query and get that the vault is available, but it is empty.
It's actually the case that to ask for balance, you need to resolve the vault. And resolving the vault has the side effect of creating it.
Ah, okay.
Just like that. The method for resolving the vault is find or create, which I guess corresponds to the behavior.
No one's address. So now we are, what now we're doing?
This is only needed for transferring, for getting a ref address based on a public key. So we can skip this step because we already know all the ref addresses. They have been stored in environment variables.
So this like system channel, which is presented by default, which we're acquiring.
Yes, this is the channel on which the ref address contract, the ref address contract listens for a call to from public key method. And it expects one parameter and one return channel, the parameter being the public key encoded as a byte array.
And so ref address returned from this channel. Okay, so
yes.
Somewhere here we should see ref address of pub key is.
Yes, but as I've said, this step is optional because you'll see exactly what's encoded in the keys.env file.
Where did that keys.env file and the script come from, the proposed script?
So they are in the rchain repo in rolang/examples.
Okay.
How come I get that block so fast? I just proposed it and queried for that block, and I already have it.
It's a fast day.
Yeah.
I mean, part of, to be very frank, part of the reason is, and the reason that you're running with the flag related to the store type, is we have changed the way that we're using rspace for the moment. because of the issue that we ran into last week that was preventing us from being able to have very long chains. So the short-term fix is what you're observing with that flag, and it does make things quite fast. The long-term fix will also be fast, but will be more long-term.
Yeah, it's very fast. Okay, so we asked for the address. What should we find in this block? Should we find anything in this block?
Yeah, again, everything that I was showing during the demo also lands on the demo channel. And you can, again, find it in the output of the whole tuple space. And let's hope that it's actually being prepended to that demo channel instead of being put in an arbitrary place. So we see...
So the order of blocks in this tuple space may not be sequential.
Yeah, order of data on a channel is arbitrary, and I think it happened here. So we see... Oh, do we see actually the ref address corresponding? Oh. I don't really see the message.
Actually, why it is not in the end of this tuple space? Somewhere in the here. Because the algorithm of damping tuple space for printing makes it in some sense randomizing it.
So the way the tuple space is organized is around channels. So you can think of it as a key value store where the key is the channel name and the value are all the data and all the continuations waiting on that channel. Actually, there's either data or continuations waiting on any particular channel, and never both.
Wait, I think it can be both if the patterns don't match, right?
Oh, yes, of course. We should see an output of 1.no1's ref address on the demo channel if we succeeded to propose that. I don't see it though. Again, that's not an issue because we know the ref address, but I'm wondering why the deploy doesn't seem to have gone in.
This is the latest block.
I don't know, is it?
I can help. So Nutziper needed to mute, so he cannot speak. Let's see. Latest block is 158 with the hash B8BB. Is that, I'm not sure which one we're looking at here. Let's see. So he was looking at 1567. I think it's hard to see, but I think the block he was looking at is 1567.
Yeah, maybe someone else should take the share.
Okay. I
All right,
can't.
I'm back, guys.
Oh, you're back.
Yay.
Oh, good. Because I'm not doing
So,
what you're doing.
so what we're doing?
We were trying to confirm whether the latest deploy made it in the blockchain by inspecting the tuple space dump.
Mm. Not sure I understood.
Yeah, like here, yeah, you did that search for demo earlier. We wanted to do that again, but we want to make sure we're looking at the latest block.
Ah. So
So,
is there a way?
yeah, here,
that?
Ken, I'm putting in the chat the hash of what I think the latest block might be. Can you look in there?
So what should I do with this hash?
No, do RNode show block with that, with the hash that I put in the chat, B8BB. There you go. And then Josh, what were we looking for in here?
Well, Arthur, you can confirm if this is right. I think we were looking for that demo channel to make sure that the latest thing he did, which was like checking somebody's, getting someone's rev address, actually showed up in the log.
Exactly.
So what do we look for then?
That previous, when a bunch of them were together in a row. Yeah.
We're doing visual pattern matching in the tuple space. Awesome.
Yeah.
This is a great day. Thanks. Okay.
We can also search for 1.null, which is the file name of the script we were executing, which is also logged.
So that's the number one, and then a period, and then what?
Null.
Null. Okay.
Yeah, this one.
I'm
Yeah.
looking
Oh,
in
no.
my node as well.
K-N-O-W.
Okay. And sorry, Josh, you say it again.
Yeah, there you go. Yep, you got it.
Okay.
And we somehow don't see it.
I cannot find that.
I don't have it either. I'm looking in the same block.
So that's interesting. Let's try that again, I guess. And that's an issue for us to investigate, because it looks as if for some reason that block got orphaned.
What's the difference between this hash and this that I got from the proposed command?
You actually should have been able to see that in that very hash, and yeah, I'm puzzled.
Can you drop that block hash in the chat, Netzaber? I'll take a peek too.
Yeah.
Thanks. Thank you. Oh, I don't have that block. Let's go looking. I'm going to go look at the logs in the network to see who has that block.
Which one do you not have, Kelly?
I don't have the block with the hash 1567.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to see if I have it.
And I feel like I am keeping up with the network. That's just a feeling. Feelings are not good here. It's weird. I have blocks built on top of it. Node 7 got it. I did get it, but I can't show it.
I have the block, and it does not show the text 1.no.
Yeah.
Same result as NetZipper.
Okay.
Sorry, this block should contain two.check.
Oh, you mean
Yeah.
you didn't execute the one that?
Actually, this block that we've been looking for is generated by deploying the toCheck balance script.
Okay, I was asking about so and the code you've got up there. Also, you didn't execute that, I guess. Yeah. Okay. Okay. That explains a lot.
Yeah, great. So everything's consistent. Yeah, perfect.
That's good news, I guess.
It is.
So, all right. Too much text.
Yeah, it's a mess.
Okay, so this file. Okay, and I'm searching for this block really fast. All right, I got it in 2 seconds.
It's a good day.
It's really fast.
You're looking in.
Actually, that's maybe something. If I calling the gRPC, the other node via gRPC, maybe isn't that block somehow being pushed to my node, or my node is
No, you still have to receive it, right? I mean,
okay.
What you're seeing, let's talk about what exactly you're seeing. When you queue that validator to propose, you're seeing the success and the block message up from that validator. So of course that's fast, but you're also receiving the block fast, because as soon as you do show block, you see it.
Yeah.
And I just searched in the tuple space of that block, and I see what we were looking for previously. If I look at 1.no, it's in the block.
Yeah.
Good times.
1.no. So let's
What
go.
was his actual rev address, though? Did we get to see that in there? Or is that where it would tell us? Oh, I see it. Yeah, okay, cool. Thank you.
This one.
Yeah, nice. You can keep going. I just wanted to make sure I understood that right.
I'm just trying to figure out. So, so now tuple space shows that there is a lot of messages hanging in demo channel. Just from the general purpose.
When you say hanging, do you mean stuck, or do you mean that there's awareness of the?
I mean that we just sent them into demo channel and haven't done anything with the data.
Yeah,
but
that's because we want to see some effect of what we're doing in the blocks.
Yeah, if we so the data is kind of lost, so we cannot access the data after it being put in the tuple space.
We actually can.
And we won't be listening to that channel.
I mean, if you want to clear the demo channel, you can simply deploy the sufficient number of receives on the demo channel. Simply drain it.
Yeah.
And this is not really something that I guess we would do. I mean, there should be a way to interact with the blockchain, and for sure, reading the Roland terms that are being input and somehow trying to figure out what the state of the constructs is not the best way to do that. So I imagine that yeah, we would either output our diagnostic messages into a channel that we own and control, and I don't know, purge it occasionally once we are happy with what's once we got to figure what has happened. Or another idea I can imagine is we could have an off-chain service for storing the results of execution, to which the contracts would call kind of an oracle. But yeah, that's just an idea off the top of my head. So I imagine for the longer period of time we would have to stick with the first solution of putting things to a channel we control and training it occasionally.
I want to call out, this has been very exciting and I've lost track of time. So we are 5 minutes past the top of the hour. If you have a hard stop, you're late, and I apologize for not calling that out. I'm curious, Nutzipper, do you have a little bit more time to finish? That would be awesome. Thank you.
Okay,
For what it's worth, this is really helpful. You know, this is kind of a voice of the user experience, and watching you go through this and listening to you and Joshi talk through this is very helpful. So thank you.
Yeah, guys, I was glad to be here for it too. It's nice to get a kind of interactive one where we're learning together. Yeah, it was really helpful for me.
Are you going to go over to the Roland room, Joshi, or are you going to stick around here?
Yeah, I would do some Rolang. Or what do you want to? I don't know. What do you want to do, Jim? Either way's fine.
Yeah, I'll go to the Roland room. You know, you can join when you're ready.
Cool. Yeah, I'll head over too. If anyone wants to join, Jim and I are going to be working on some code that'll duplicate a process arbitrarily many times as quickly as possible.
Nice.
Later, guys.
Thanks, Jim. Thanks, Joshi.
Thanks.
All right. Strange, it doesn't search. Can you hear me?
Yes.
So I'm searching for that block with transfer funds. We're transferring funds from a list to above.
Okay.
And I cannot see that in tuple space.
So the highlighted text, the transfer that's highlighted, is not what you expected to see?
Yeah, it should be on the demo channel.
It should be in the tuple space here.
Yeah, and I guess one possible reason for that is maybe your console's scrollback buffer is not long enough to capture everything. Maybe it's been truncated at the top.
Yeah, I've had that experience. As the tuple space gets bigger and bigger, then the console loses bandwidth support.
We can pipe it to less, and then we will be able to find it more easily. Or like that, yeah.
Actually, it will print out. Yeah, here it is. It prints out all the tuple space and somewhere the substring. So okay, this block has been successfully proposed. So going further. To be complete, let's do all the stuff until the end.
Putting in the chat window an image of the DAG as it was about 3 minutes ago, if you're curious.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so should we do something else? I've been deployed all the contracts, I believe. Sorry.
So now does Bob,
Do you want?
Bob have what Alice sent?
Sorry.
Does Bob now have what Alice sent? Or I might be misspeaking in terms of where we were in the process.
Me neither.
So
We
actually,
got lost along the way.
we don't really have a good way of checking the result of the execution other than looking at the node output. Because, yeah, I didn't really think that's true. We log to the demo channel, but we don't put any sequence numbers in there. And the messages are unordered, and yeah, we don't even know from which deploy each of them came. So we can check the balance again, but how we won't be able to discern the output we are going to achieve by deploying now from the one that we've been deploying previously.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Right.
Yeah. That's right.
We would have to drain the demo channel by, I don't know, deploying a contract that would do another receive as long as there is anything to receive in there, then terminate that one last outstanding continuation with yet another datum, and then we have a clear demo channel, and then we can start from scratch. But I guess we really don't have time to do that today.
Don't we have some interface to check balance from the command line?
No, not yet.
Because debugging with this demo channel is not easy. And trying to understand what we're debugging, and then what should we find.
Yep.
It is very uneasy.
That's really helpful.
Yeah. So do you want me to deploy other contracts? I guess there was a.
So I think we've already deployed all the interesting contracts. We've seen the transfer, we've seen check balance. We weren't, unfortunately, able to verify the results of the transfer. by checking the balance
Yeah,
again. Well, we could probably modify the check balance script to output to a different channel than demo and do that, but I don't feel that anything that actually brings anything new to the conversation.
yeah.
Right. Okay. Thank you for that recap. Hey, NetZipper, you sat in the hot seat this whole testing session, and I'm really grateful for it.
Yeah.
That's not always
Well,
easy, but really important and super helpful for us to have watched you go through this as well. I mean, on the one hand, to you know, to help everyone learn and work together to understand how to do this, but also as a dev team to watch you go through this. And I've been taking notes along the way of things that ideas we have for improvements and things that we understand that users are going to want to improve the usability of this process. So thank you very much for
yeah,
doing this.
thank you. My pleasure.
Thanks. All right, so we're going to wrap there. We are well over time. Certainly appreciate you sticking with it, especially you, Christian, for continuing the recording. And we will look forward